care of it, dumping bitches, getting it, no strategic bitches, doesn't keep back, no, you stop that, you don't hear me, chicks, real pimp, nigga, good heads, open house and hoes, dragging all your buckles with the phone, it's my goal, it's a nigga, and then I click it, grab it, out and black, horses in my mind, and the bitches make me kill a man, it's so branded, feeling from Magnolia, but they got that caught in one side, living on that check, I wanna know who's out of niggas talking shit, you might wanna say they killed they damn self, we don't start shit, but we ain't fun, that's our rep, and you know the fucking so cool, we got plastic too, you don't wanna roll with us, so roll right over you, it's so branded, feeling from Magnolia, but they got that caught in one side, living on that check, I wanna know who's out of niggas, and then I click it, grab it, out and black, horses in my mind, and the bitches make me kill a man, and you know the fucking so cool, we got plastic too, you don't wanna roll with us, so roll right over you, taking care of it and dumping bitches, getting it, no strategic bitches, doesn't keep back, no, you stop that, you don't hear me, chick.
Good morning, guys. That bell just rang a minute ago, and we are ready for a good day in the stock market here. Man, that SPY, I've been watching it all morning here. It's been down around support. I'm really going to be watching this closely today to see if it can give out or end up just moving down just a little bit lower. What are some big levels today? 495 even is huge, but we need to be more careful of 494.50 and 494 under here, I think. If long as we stay under this like 496 area, I think that we could still have a pretty good day today to the downside. But of course, if we start ripping above 496, we might have to start to be a little bit adaptable here. But going into open, you know, we're seeing the SPY down. I was looking through the market this morning. Microsoft was having a pretty bad day overall. Apple was actually doing fairly good, and at open, they're holding up decently. Amazon also doing pretty decent here. They ran up a little last night. They're getting up to 170. They're starting to actually get some good movement on Amazon. Will this be like a bit of a spot where Amazon outshines the other stocks in the market? It just might. And today it already broke the high of yesterday, so pretty fire there. What's up though? Mason, Cool Guy, Xbox, Melanie, Mike, and Jerry. Let's go. Thanks for being here today. You know what we gotta hit you with.
All right.
There goes Amazon though, above 170, like it was nothing. 170.23 now. Big green candle at open. You gotta like that. Go out to a 1 minute chart. Still having good movement on there as well. Let's check in on oil, ZOM, Oxy. Hit those bad boys up real quick. And the banks. Get these smaller stocks out of the way. Bank of America falling off today. Interesting. Move back lower. Wells Fargo, same thing. JPM, kind of around that low. Going to the watch list. Wow, we have LI and NEO. Okay. JD, BABA, the China stocks are up a little bit. Look at BABA at open. Definitely not a bad move there. Tesla's coming back too. I saw they were having a pretty good morning. Wow. Man, Tesla doing awesome there. Great recovery play by them. SPY is not getting that though. Still sitting pretty low on the day. So while we are getting some of these bigger stocks moving up, it's not like Apple, Amazon. These stocks that are barely green don't seem like they're really carrying the market too much, I guess. Wow. Look at that great move, though. Gotta love these big moves that open. NEO's even doing decent. Well, I guess they opened well. Since the actual opening, they haven't been, but Kraft Heinz is kind of up again. No way, guys. Walmart. Oh, Walmart's down. I was going to say, is it another slow-moving day? I am glad to see Tesla starting to move back, though. That's pretty awesome. Maybe even watch them to get to $200 today. That could be a fun feat. Maybe get to watch a nice rejection play off of that. That would be sick. But let's go, guys. Xbox, Hulk, smash the like button. And hey, while you're at it, I'm going to make a poll. So like up the stream, vote in the poll. Let's go. Nvidia earnings are tonight. Will the stock move up or down on them is the main question. We're going to say that. All right. Vote up in the poll, guys. Let's go. Vote it up. Nvidia earnings tonight. I know everybody's going to be watching for this. Even Rivian and Lucid report tonight, too, which are a little bit underrated. Those stocks can have some wild, wild moves whenever they do start to go up as well. Should have kept my DraftKings puts, Mason said. DKNG. Oh, yeah. I mean, starting to fall off a little bit lower here. Definitely not bad, though, to take profits, but we'll see how low it gets today. Palantir coming back. That's not good to see. They're running up into that low from yesterday, so watch for that to be resistance. In the short term, Palantir got pretty low here if we're being real with ourselves, right? Had 2 great days, and then even that move this morning was a pretty good, significant move again in pre-market, almost like the move that happened at open yesterday. Happened in pre-market today, so I found that to be nice, but hopefully it drops back lower here for Xbox. He was grabbing some of these puts yesterday. Hey, Arthur said Starbucks and pumpkin spice is going. If Sean was in here, he'd get a kick out of that one. Pumpkin spice, right? That's funny. S-Bucks definitely coming back alive. Running up to 95. Pretty good move today. I saw the slower movers were having decent runs. KO, a really slow moving stock, was up again too. Hell yeah, Mason. It is on fire, man. That's funny. I actually just sent something in the chat. That's funny. Yeah, let's go, though, Mason. That's pretty fire. That's one of the best ones in a long time. Long time. Palantir to 20 bucks, Xbox said. Come on, Palantir. Drop down to 24s at some point today. Just keep watching for that rejection. Lefty said ARM is moving. ARM. Nice. Starting to bounce off support a little bit down here at the bottom, like 116, getting a nice bounce coming back. Okay. Definitely not bad. Definitely not bad, but not great. Man, I wish ARM was doing a little better, but still a decent support bounce there. We really need to see these big stocks. Man, Tesla running up to 197 now, just continuing to blast higher. Now that is where that momentum is today. We'll be looking for SM Body Bod here for us. We got Baba and Tesla on there, of course, 2 stocks we've been watching today. Man, Baba is really on fire. My gosh. Baba, let's go. Okay. Hell yeah, Baba. Arthur said somebody say ARM. What about CART? C-A-R-T, Instacart. Yeah, they had some earnings last week. Been pretty whack since then. Man, honestly, holding up pretty well, though. One of the better stocks holding up here since earnings over the past few weeks. It didn't necessarily fall too much, just chopped around here. Go out to the daily. Right around resistance. I mean, is it going to try to break here? Just might. It's a lot of green lately, a lot of good. How's the volume? Let's go look at the volume. Wow, the volume's definitely picking up, guys. Definitely picking up lately. Gonna have to keep our eyes on CART. I think it's starting to get hyped up a little bit. Going back to Tesla, 197 rejection. We're gonna bring the 4-chart setup out into play, which is looking good, actually. Most of them are good besides Meta, but that's okay. Let's go look at Meta on this chart here. Get a better bird's eye view. Yeah, Meta's actually down below 466 support. Surprised they got under there in the short term. Okay, Meta really fell off here today. Interesting one. It's a big drop down to 463. Looking good, Meta. Looking good. Mason said, I think tomorrow's pushed by Nvidia earnings. That fan base is not letting it go red. Let's see what the vote looks like today. 18 votes right now, guys. Cast your votes for the Nvidia earnings tonight. Let's go. Cast your votes. Will they make new highs again? Will Nancy Pelosi make millions? That's the big question, right? Will Pelosi make millions? We'll pull up her trade here. Says right there, purchase 50 call options with a strike price of $120 and an expiration of 12/20/24. Everyone's kind of wondering in the short term, has she sold? Has she sold? We'll only see whenever she does the filings, but hopefully we see that she ends up selling or something at the top. That's funny. Probably locked in like a couple million there. I can't remember the exact number it was, but it was quite a bit. Oh, hell yeah, Mason. I'll give out a free hug. No, I'm just kidding. No hugs around here. We only do high fives and daps. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
How dare you?
Whoa, I'm sorry, Greta. I'll give you a hug. I'm sorry. What do you think of those games that play out like a movie? I don't know what that is, Xbox. It's a series, that thing is? Oh, interesting. I've never heard of that one. Man, I don't know, Xbox. You're opening up a new wormhole for me here. I've never heard of that. Man, Microsoft down below yesterday's low of day. Just got below there within a few seconds ago or a couple minutes ago, so watch out. Microsoft on the move down here today. Apple coming up. The Mag 7 is mixed again. Microsoft down, Apple up, Amazon's up. Meta's down. Like, what the hell? Very mixed. Hey, Mason said, what stock is PANW? I think that's Palo Alto. Yeah, Palo Alto, PANW. Damn, it had a big drop down today, didn't it? Down 26%. Look at how high that stock was getting, guys. Oh, man. Whew. That is pretty brutal there. Man, that's a bad drop. You see now, guys, now that's what we're talking about when we're worried about these stocks getting overextended. Now, this is what we're talking about right here. Right? If these earnings on these overextended stocks don't go well, this is exactly what can go on. So you got to be careful of that. Will, like, Nvidia probably fall this much? Probably not. But you just got to be careful for those big gaps on these earnings. I mean, that's brutal, guys. Palo Alto, interesting stock. Like cybersecurity. That's a big move, though. Like, this stock is down 26%. Could you imagine if we woke up tomorrow and Nvidia was down 26%? Are people going to even believe it? You know, that's going to be the thing, right? Are they going to even believe that? Honestly, I'll tell you what. There's a big support here on Nvidia down around 503. Honestly, like right around 500, right? That's right around a 25%, 26% pullback for this stock. So I'm not saying it's going to get there, but, you know, just keep that possibility open, right? The big thing with Nvidia is that we really need the numbers to show enough growth, right? If the numbers aren't showing the growth, or let's say getting up to expectations, then that's going to be where this stock falls, because everybody's expecting great growth, and I mean amazing growth. So, like, if there's not amazing growth, like, let's say it's just good growth. It's not amazing, it's just good. It might be a negative for this. We'll have to see, though. After hours can get pretty whack on these earnings plays. PANW, Palo Alto. Down 26% and continuing. That's funny. Tesla is still recovering 2.2% to the upside now. Past 198. Almost getting to like the $200 level like we talked about. Pretty close. It needs like a, 25% of the move today. It needs another little 25% of that overall move. Just a little push. Be right up to 200, but just be careful. 199, 198.50, pretty big resistance, so. They have these games where there's a story. You can change the outcome for characters. Let's say it's a horror movie. You thought the person running trips on something was stupid. You can play things out where they don't trip. Oh, that's pretty cool. Huh. I see Xbox. That's pretty interesting. Huh. Siam says, Mara call. I haven't even looked at the Bitcoin stocks today. Mara, how's Coinbase? I know they were whack last night. Yeah, falling down this morning. Not my favorite move out there. Go to the daily. Pretty bad drop going on. Yeah. Pretty bad drop there on coin. Too bad. I know that's going to make some people upset. All the crypto followers out there. Bitcoin itself is down 2% too. Back down to 51,000 after hitting 53,000 yesterday. Or really close to it. Wow. Yes, it did, Mason. Nvidia dropping. Took the lead on the poll. That's pretty nuts. I'm surprised. I am very surprised at that. Like, how? We all know the undenying love for Nvidia. Ah, the hot tea. Always coming in clutch in the morning. There we go, though, Nvidia. It actually looks pretty brutal today. I think people are expecting a sell-off or something. Or people are simply de-risking. I bet you it's just so high that people are just de-risking. Like, simply just de-risking. One thing that I really like to do to try to find out a move on a stock, especially in like the short term, but you can do it long term too, is I really like to identify a range like this. And I'll show you guys, there's a big red arrow pointing right to that range. Right here. I'm going to go ahead and draw this out for you a little bit. And I'm going to explain to you what I've seen over the years as being a pretty good setup here. So one thing that I like to do is I kind of like to measure the move from like the low up into that trend or into that range. So I'm measuring the move, and I'm not just keeping it percentage wise the move. I like literally want the exact line size like this, right? And what I like to do is I like to put that above the range. Okay. And the point of this is a lot of times it'll have a similar breakout move as it had on that run up into said range before the breakout, and then it'll drop lower. So like in this case, you know, from the top of the range, or if you go from the bottom or the middle, it's like right where we are now. If you can stay at the top of the range, you know, puts us up to like that 810 area, like 810-ish, right? I don't know that we'll get up there, maybe with good earnings, but I like to do that sometimes. We're getting pretty close to that top, though. So my whole point is that I think people are going to start to get, you know, a little bit worried in the short term, because, like, how much more can this go? I think so many people are starting to think that in the back of their minds. And I'm really surprised that the vote was looking for Nvidia dropping down here. I think that means a lot of people out there are getting worried in the short term. So be careful of that. Obviously, just don't play it, right? Hey, sounds good, Sean. Keep the lurking up, right? Pumpkin spice, baby. Let's get it. That's funny. Speaking of pumpkin spice, S-Bucks, nice run up to 95. Almost getting higher than that. 35 total votes, though. Come on, guys. There's 75 people watching here. Let's up these voting numbers. These are some rookie numbers in this racket.
I pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Love that movie. All right, let's go back to Mara calls. CM asked about those earlier. Not too bad there. Man, Baba, that's hot. Let's see JD. I know they were pretty good today. Baidu. I wish NIO would fucking move. Come on, NIO. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but there's these commercials out for these hearing aids for old people. And it's called Neo hearing aids, Neo. And they're always out there going, Neo, Neo, Neo. And I'm sitting there like, what the, come on. Like, I keep thinking they're talking about the stock, and then they're like, the hearing aids. And I'm like, oh, great. That again. Hey, LJ, thanks for subscribing. If anybody out there is new here, make sure you smash up that subscribe button. Joshua said, Tom, should load up on more DraftKings shares since it's down? Good move. No, I don't think it's really I don't really count this as being down, really. I mean, if we go look at the chart, it's down a little bit, but like, you know, that's really not too much here at the moment. No way, Xbox. I just did. There's some on Netflix. Really? So you can watch those on Netflix and change it? That's pretty crazy. It is. It's not like 1-to-1 like the game, but it's still interesting, Xbox said. Hell yeah. That's kind of interesting, though. I've never heard of that. That might make movies a lot better, right? There's a bunch of cat ones on there. What? Around the same has to be like plus 1 million odds. I don't know, Xbox. That's pretty crazy, though. Does seem like a game changer, doesn't it? All right, Boeing stock. Starting to fall off a little bit short term. I've been watching it really, really closely around this big support. We zoom out, and it's just been stuck in the mud down here. But there can be opportunity as it actually starts to break down and out of this. Let me fix the Christmas tree thing going on here. Too many levels on Boeing, short term. This range has provided a lot of chop for this stock, to say the least. Like a lot. Clean up that chart a little bit. We can always re-identify those levels later if need be. A pretty big support down here, though, at the lows. $200 is a huge level. Now, of course, it gave out. We have to watch 198 because that's where the main bounces are under 200. But with all of Boeing's problems recently, right? Like the stock is stuck now. I'm really just waiting for that breakdown here of 200. Once that breaks, I think that we could see more momentum down, right? A lot of bad news short term with those 737s. It seems like that line of aircraft just needs to be discontinued, right? It's like there's just never anything that's gone right for that aircraft, it seems like. And I don't necessarily blame Boeing because it's not like, you know, it's not like these things are crashing left and right or nothing. You know, there's just like little issues going on. And a lot of times it's not even their fault. You know, like let's say mechanics didn't put bolts in the doors, or I don't know, like the landing gear failing. Like, is that really Boeing's fault, or is that the people who made that's fault? Boeing just installed it, you know, onto their aircraft. Now, I'm not saying that every situation is like that, but whenever you think about these companies, it's like, I feel bad for airline companies. You know, they gotta really take the brute of everything. Tesla's a similar one, right? Like, let's say someone's doing the self-driving in a Tesla, and then they get in a car accident, and, like, let's say it wasn't the self-driving thing's fault at all. you know, it's still going to freak people out, right? Still going to freak them out. Now, of course, it could be the thing's fault, but I'm just... Similar situation. Hey, what's up, Joe? Hope you're having a great day. Same thing goes for everybody out there, even the lurkers out there. I hope you're having a great day. Bringing up the watch list. XPEV up 3.66% on the day. The China EV stocks are starting to really move this morning. XPEV and LI were having decent runs. I guess LI slowed up now, but still, I guess the pre-market move was really where it was. Tesla looking good. 198.50 resistance overhead. Tesla starts to break that. Watch out for $200 coming in. It's pretty high this morning overall. It's been just about, you know, obviously not as big, but almost as big as the move from yesterday. We're pretty close. Chad says build quality issues, 100% Boeing's issues. Well, Chad, like, you know, there's always like, there's a lot of maintenance that has to be done to these aircrafts, Chad. And it's not just Boeing aircrafts, it's all aircrafts, right? So like, in the recent case where like the door flew off, you know, people who don't really know the situation don't realize that like mechanics like didn't put the bolts back in right. You know, or it wasn't being checked to make sure it had all the bolts in it and stuff. Like, a lot of times, these issues on aircrafts are mechanics not, like, triple checking to make sure things are done, or, you know, something got changed out when it was supposed to get changed out, or etc. But I'm not saying that's the case every time, but it does just seem like that line of aircraft is cursed, though. It does. Brutal. Arthur said cart. Oh man, is it still going? C-A-R-T. Instacart. 2.74% today. Getting around recent resistance. Could be better. Could see it being better. PayPal turn around or fall off, Arthur said. PYPL. Let's see, Arthur. Let's see the setup here. Man, I would love for it to go up, but I'm being real. I think it looks like a pretty bad move to the downside in the short term here. I don't like it. Don't like the way this is setting up at all. Whenever we talk about the recent move on PayPal, there was a big drop on earnings a couple weeks ago, and it's just been consolidating here. Now there's actually a double top that's formed. I mean, I would count as a double top. Might not be perfect, but, you know, give or take a few cents. And it's actually a bit of a lower high going on as well. So even if PayPal does move up, you might be able to trade it up like into this resistance, but like really within one day, I would say it's pretty rare that we get much higher than that. So I don't know, until that $60-ish resistance breaks with some good volume, good momentum, I'm just going to be looking at this one down. Poor PayPal's been weak as hell lately too. How's Zoom? I know that's another one that, yeah, you know, it was trying to hold up. I mean, these stocks are just showing why they've been so weak, right? You know, we've been seeing these big stocks, well, not good, well, you know, how could you call Nvidia not a good company, right? We're seeing great companies move to the upside in great ways, even over the past 6 to 8 months, like even like DraftKings, Square, and I'm not saying that like Square's up a ton, but like at least it's not like down around recent lows like you know, Zoom or PayPal is or something, right? These stocks have been really weak this year. I do think that there's good long-term share buying opportunities going on, but man, for options, short-term, calls are brutal on this. I know a lot of people have been trying to buy up longer dated call options down here. You know, there's been a lot of questions like, hey, should I buy PayPal for like a year's out expiration at like the 60 strike, or, you know, Square, or let's say it's Zoom, right? They'll be like, should I buy a Zoom call for February of 2025 at like the 65 strike? It's like, I don't know. The long dated call options could be good if you're getting enough time on them, but you know, you got to really make sure that you're okay holding that long. At that point, it's almost, in my opinion, just safer just to get shares. I'd rather just take advantage of the short-term move because, you know, we never know. Like, what if the whole market starts pulling back, tech stocks pull back, and then these stocks run to new lows, right? Going to be pretty brutal. So be careful of that. Now, the good thing about these stocks, and one good thing, is that they are not correlated to the market that much. You know, it's weak correlation. PayPal has moderate correlation, so it's not like it's gonna necessarily move with the market. But then again, as we know, the overall market always plays an impact. Yeah, the poll is tied, guys. That is very, very close. Make sure you're casting your votes here. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, Starbucks, really good move today. Sean's still lurking around, he said, but I'd love to see the pumpkin spice moving, right? 1.55% to the upside. Average percent rise only 0.76%, so decent move there. And the cool thing is, broke the recent resistance or double top right around 94 to 94.20. You can see the past couple days had trouble breaking right there, so that was a pretty solid move this morning, I'd say. Really solid. That's nice, that's nice. Christian said, hit CrowdStrike off the bot. Yes, nice. CRWD. Okay. CrowdStrike came back a little bit since open here. What an interesting one. Now that's an interesting bot play right there. Nice, nice. Meeting's already over, Sean said. Beautiful. Blake said, thoughts on Palantir, PLTR. We talk about this stock quite a bit here on the channel. On the daily, with Palantir, it's getting to that point where, like, it's dipping, and how many more red days is there going to be before a slight recovery, right? Maybe today, if today could end up closing red, that would be a pretty decent move. But with Palantir, it's running right into resistance from yesterday. This is a pretty big spot. I'm drawing some arrows right to that resistance. Of course, that's right where it rejects today, right? Surprise, surprise, it rejects off resistance. But pretty insane on Palantir, Blake. I mean, it's been doing so well, but in the short term, had two pretty big red days in a row. We got to watch out for this support around $21.90 to $22. If we see it starting to bounce up off of there pretty well, it's going to be tough to continue to play this one down. Now, I'll say this, if you have enough time, it's totally fine. And whenever I zoom out, I'm going to kind of draw out for you what could kind of happen on a setup like this, because you know, of course, there's always hypotheticals. This could happen, that could happen, etc. But sometimes it's good to visualize it, and it might save you a bad entry point, right? Because in the grand scheme of things, it's pretty low right now. Yesterday, Xbox was talking about this one. I kept trying to wait for him to enter until the stock pulled back up towards the end of the day. Ended up being near perfect, where the stock had a great run back up, you know, able to get into some puts up there, or, you know, on the way up here somewhere. A better price than just running in down there, where we still probably knew it was going to be bearish today, but, you know, it's like, do you want to enter here, or do you want to get yourself a great entry up here, right? And with this play now, I just don't see the opportunity being too hot, because we're already nearing support. And, like, let's say this thing pulls back for a couple days, right? It doesn't have to explode. It doesn't mean it's going to get back up to new highs or anything. Like, let's say you're trading some weekly options or even next week's or something. Like, if this stock starts to do this and it ends up getting all the way back up to there or something to retest resistance, you know, what are you going to do then? You know, as long as you have a good plan in place for whenever something like that occurs, then you're all good. Hey, what's up, Christian? Yeah, that CrowdStrike, pretty interesting. Made 4K. Nice. Said it was sketchy. Yeah, that is kind of a little sketchy, isn't it? That was a big move down at open. It came back pretty good, but definitely got a little sketchy there. I was looking at it where the contract was at 1.40. Got it at 1.25. Wanted a second one, but my order didn't fill at 1.05. I feel that, Xbox. It's too bad. 1.05 would have been a great price, but... Wow, Christian averaged down 3 times on that one. Damn. Sure thing, Chad. I can look at SMCI for you. SMCI is pretty interesting. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Yeah, it had a pretty rough move there at first, Christian, didn't it? Man, that's a bad drop, though. So SMCI 730 is a huge support here. I mean, huge area. There's already been 3 hits on that level today. It might actually be hard to even stay under there at this point, or to get back under there. So keep your eyes on SMCI just in case it does have like a little short-term recovery, right? It could have like an intraday recovery play or move back. Do I think it's really worth playing, though? It could be. It could be. Depends how that momentum really starts coming in. Honestly, could have been a decent entry like somewhere down here if you saw those bounces going on, but that's a big spot. And I'm going to draw some arrows out to that 730 level too. Definitely a big area of support. Now, if we're talking about resistance, I instantly am going to look right here at those bounces, right? Pretty good support level, it looks like. Let's zoom out on this one. How many times has it bounced off this? Yeah, look, we can actually go back to even more of the middle of February. Like February 10th, 11th, and 12th. Look at all these bounces right on that level within that intraday time span there for a couple days. Pretty good. Pretty good, right? It's a big level of support, which is now acting as resistance. So as this moves up, we gotta watch that. I mean, yeah, right around 780. After there, $800 is obvious, I think, to people. Pretty big whole dollar mark. And then after that, looks like 830, 835. Right around there. A lot of hits on this stock, though. Oh, there's that little intraday recovery coming in. Almost getting back towards its high of this morning. I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, if this stock has a little recovery here. Like I said, it doesn't have to be huge, but just intraday, not bad. Mason said SMCI will go to 300. We'll see. We will see. I could see it. I could see it. 300's a little bit ambitious, but I could see that happening at some point. No problem, Chad. Go to CrowdStrike. Curious here. Another pump and dump if it really reaches 300, Carlos said. Yeah, I guess you could say that's a pump and dump, right? I don't know. Not sure. Do you count Zoom as a pump and dump? From back in the day? Because, like, it's kind of a similar situation to a lot of these stocks. Kind of similar. Square's another one. Tesla's one. Do you count Tesla as a pump and dump? Guess it's not as bad, but... I don't know. Interesting, Carlo. Never thought of SMCI as being a pump and dump like that, but now you got me thinking. Of course, I thought about it pulling back, but I never thought about it that way. Yes, it did, Mason. It went straight up, but I mean, you know, pump and dumps, man, are kind of whack. If we see pump and dump setups on the chart, they're usually a lot different. Like, let's say AMC, right? I would count that as a pump and dump all day. GME, same thing, big pump and dump. Now that's how a pump and dump looks. Right here. But I guess it does. I guess I'll count SMCI on it. We'll count it just for the volatility because it's so crazy. The crazy thing about this, and I don't think a lot of people even realize this, at the low of this morning from recent high, SMCI already pulled back like 32%. That's quite a bit. It's a pretty big pullback. Yeah, that's kind of what I think, Mason. A lot harder. It would have had like multiple like 20% down days or 10% down days like it did. But hey, it's still volatile. We get it. We get it. Man, SPY staying right around the low. Market's chopping around into those Nvidia earnings tonight. Don't forget about those. After the market closes, Nvidia is going to be reporting. Also, don't forget about the FOMC minutes today at 2 p.m. Eastern time. A lot of people are forgetting about the FOMC minutes because of Nvidia earnings, so watch out. If it actually goes to 300 in the next week or something somehow, then I agree. Yeah, I could see it. Either way, whether it's a pump and dump or not, it's crazy, right? That's the main thing to know. The other things don't really make a difference. All right, Palantir. Hitting resistance, 2290 rejection. All right, Xbox. That's exactly what you want, right? Good stuff there. I don't know. Looks like it might try to staircase itself back up. Just be a little wary, but overall decent. All right, give me 1 sec, guys. Right back. Intermission. All right. We are back at it. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Arthur said Starbucks all day. Okay. Come on, Starbucks. Get up and through that resistance. Let's go. Make it happen. No, Mason, it's FOMC minutes. FOMC minutes. Not the meeting, not the meeting. Just the minutes. Which, for anyone that doesn't know what the minutes are, it's just simply a written account of what they talked about at their last meeting. For example, like, if you have like a meeting, there's supposed to be a minutes keeper. So there'll be somebody sitting there writing down the conversation and stuff. Essentially, that's what it is. It's just the conversations being written down and etc. Just in case anybody out there did not know what minutes were. I know Mason probably did, but I just mean just for anyone. Man, there it goes, Starbucks. The spice is getting spicier. I like it. Sounds pretty good. The minutes can actually be pretty important. I still think the pricing power ETF PP is funny. That's pretty funny. I've never looked into this before, Xbox. That's kind of funny. How are these individual stocks doing here? Man, S-Bucks, 95.39. What a day. Mason. Mason, you're being a bad good man in here. Spell iCup. What is that from, Mason? The third grade? What the hell? Bend over and spell run. Oh my god, you guys. Xbox said you've mentioned it and looked at it on stream. Yeah, I probably did at one point, Xbox, but not something that I've looked at. It might have just been one time, you know. I could have sworn the Meet Kevin ETF was something else, but man. Yeah, apparently I have looked at it though. I'm sure I have at one point, but I didn't realize that that's what it was called, though. It's funny. I probably said the same thing last time. Yeah, apparently it is, Mason. Yeah. Yeah, he does. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? I've never looked into it too much because I don't really care to trade it, so I don't really care about it. You know, this ETF, PP. But either way, it's interesting, right? I normally just stick to what I know. And judging by PP's chart. Oh my god. Judging by the chart, it's very low volume, it looks like. Let's look at it daily. I'm curious how much volume came into this yesterday, for example. Only 27,000. That's very low. There's some days where this stock only sees like 8,000 volume. I should say this ETF. Wow, 4,000 volume on the 6th of February, guys. That's pretty bad. 5,000 volume on the... I mean, we're talking like... Even like some unknown stocks have more volume than that on their options chain sometimes. Like, very low volume on this. Interesting, though. All right, SPY rejecting, starting to push back towards that low of day. That's going to be a very interesting thing to see there. I saw that. He ran for governor, and he did that like when he dyed his hair blue or something. I was like, what the... I think whenever he ran for governor, his head got a little bit too big, Xbox. In the short term. I remember that. I remember that. Mason said that dude's just a random. Man, I don't know, man. I gotta give Meet Kevin some respect. You know, that guy... I might not love him, but man, he's pretty big out there. Same thing with like Graham Stephan. I think they're a little similar. Graham's obviously a little bit better, but he irks me more. Irks me a little more. Either way, though, it doesn't matter. All right, let's bring up the watch list. Penn Gaming up in the green. No way. All right, all right. Looks like some buyers are coming in here today. Let's go to the daily. Is there like a big level we're at or something, or anything going on? Well, it is at big support, can't lie. I mean, huge level here. Like a major. Yeah, like literally on a charting basis, this is a major level. Multiple bounces right here, and of course, what does it do over the past couple days? Bounce there again. Is this going to be where the buying opportunity is for Penn? It's actually really low right now. If anybody out there is looking to be a sniper, I mean, I like this setup quite a bit. Pretty simple on this one. If it breaks below the low of this morning, you're out. Cut it. Bam. Done. I don't know. Seems like a pretty good play. I like this. Sometimes I like sniping these stocks off support like this. It doesn't have to even fully recover up, right? It could just have like 1 or 2 days of just slow, nice little recovery up to like 18 or 19, and all you need. All you need on this. Love that level, though. I've been waiting for Penn. They've been falling. They've been falling. They've been falling. Now I'm getting tempted here. He's in anybody, yeah. Haha, Mason. LLY. Nice. The Last Degenerate. What a name. Oh, I'll say this. I get a kick out of that one. That one's pretty funny. I keep stuttering.
Today, Junior?
One of my favorite buttons out there. You guys gotta love it, right? I swear to God, every weekend I see Happy Gilmore on the TV. Every single weekend. Okay. LLY, pretty big level. Got to go out to Nvidia. Down around support. Okay. Nvidia's pretty weak today. Pretty weak sauce. Just stuck. I'm not going to say overly weak. Just stuck, right? Flat. Doing nothing. Got the earnings tonight. Are you guys going to play the earnings? If you are, let me know in the chat. I'm curious. Throw it out there. I'll be real with you. I mean, you know, if you are, you know, like, I'm not going to make fun of you for it or nothing. Just let me know. It's interesting. Curious what you guys think. Mason, that's hilarious. Billy Madison, one of my favorite movies, Mason. One of my favorite movies. Love it. I love that. I really like the scene when he does Today, Junior, but my favorite part about it is whenever he goes out in the hallway, and she's like, how dare you do that to a kid? And he goes, I can't hear you. I've been physically abused in the ear. And that part just gets me so bad. He's like, I'm deaf. Oh, that movie's great. I wish I had some stock market relevance, right? If only. All right, Palantir still doing well. Mason goes, don't you have the Today Junior button? Man, I'm pretty sure I just pressed it, Mason. Didn't you guys hear that a minute ago? Dude, I literally just pressed it, I think. The price is wrong, Bobby. You know, that's actually not bad. I wonder if they have that one. Here, let's see. Oh, I want to press this one, guys. Mind your ears, just in case it's bad. I'm going to give you a 5-second warning. How about this one?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
All right, that's getting added to the list. I gotta say that. Getting added to the list for sure. I like that one. Mason says, plays Mike yelling at Tom. I don't know, man. He's probably going to yell at the one talking about ICUP, you know? I-cup, like what? All right, QQQ, big support down here. 423.50, double bottom. Watch for that breakdown to happen. That's going to be big. QQQ, that's a perfect double bottom over the past couple days. Billy Madison, Jason, is the movie. Be careful if you're looking at this QQQ double bottom. It's a pretty big spot in the short term, though. If that gives out today, that could be a great entry point. Just be very careful holding this. We have Nvidia earnings tonight. That's going to play a big role on the QQQ. Cause a big move, cause a ruckus, I guess we could say. Whatever you want to say. Either way, though, big move coming in tonight. They're expecting like an 11% move on Nvidia. That's pretty big. Guys, 11%. So, That's probably going to swing the QQQ at least a little bit. And we'll probably see a lot of chip stocks move, like AMD, Intel, and others will probably start moving. Buy Burke B, Cons, and chill. Seriously, Arthur, really? Burke B. I actually really like Warren Buffett's investment strategy, I guess. You can say strategy, whatever you want to call it. Him and Munger were really smart. They looked into valuations of companies, of course, but the thing I really like about them is that they didn't necessarily just care about that, but obviously has a huge role. But, you know, they would look at sometimes things that they believed in and etc. I really like to see all of the stocks that they've had over time, just watching that growth. I still can't believe Apple, you know, it's been so good for them over the lifespan of that stock, or of Berkshire, I guess, right? Not always, you know. Berkshire's been around a lot longer than, you know, this was back before I was even born when they started buying Apple, so I'm sure. 61 votes on the poll, guys. Let's go. What a turnout on the votes today. If you haven't voted yet, get them in. Smash that like button. We're 12 likes away from 40 likes, guys. Come on, let's get it. Let's go. Smash that like. Get that number up. It's rookie numbers in the racket. All right, Visa, what you got? AMD? No movement on that today. All right, SM Bot is coming into play here. Where is that momentum? Intel puts. Man, Intel was looking wild on the chart a few minutes ago. Man, it is looking pretty rough, isn't it? A bad move down. Teladoc puts. I think... Oh, okay, they had earnings last night. Okay. I was going to say... Yeah, Teladoc down 24%, guys. Guess what? Guess what? Another weak-ass company continues to be weak. Teladoc. All these stocks that have been weak as hell are continuing to go lower. Like, we go look at something like PayPal again, right? Weak as fuck over the past couple years. Even this year, super weak. We're even seeing... You know, Palantir recover, DraftKings recover. There's tons of recoveries out of the stocks that have fallen over the past couple years, all across the board. But I feel like the shittier ones, and I don't even mean that they're bad companies, just shitty as far as price action. They're all staying lower. Maybe we'll start to eventually see a transition, but it sucks to see for a few of these. And that's another one. Teladoc. Another one stemming from COVID, right? It's doing great with COVID. People are using the doctor online, etc. Crash. Reminds me of Zoom. It's like Zoom, you know? Very similar. Zoom's about to make a new low too. Not to rag on Zoom too much, but man, Zoom, you got some issues. I was trying to be as optimistic as I could. Now, I'll say this. As they're low, there's going to be people out there that say, well, now's the time to buy. And I kind of agree with that. I really do. But you just can't get over the simple fact that they've been terrible, right? It don't mean the companies suck. Just the stocks have been terrible. Right? Sometimes these companies still see good growth. They still go down. Maybe they're a little overvalued or something. You know? Maybe. Or that downside euphoria is hitting. That's the problem with the market. The market's always changing. There's one analyst that thinks Zoom should be at 300, and then there's others that think it should be at 50. You know, it's all across the board. And I'm not being real there. I doubt there's any that think it could be at 300. Well, I don't know. Zooming out, there probably is someone out there. But either way, you guys get my point. We talk about this all the time. Mike and myself talk about this personally a little bit too. Quite a bit. These analysts out there, they are the biggest bullshitters in the world with these price, you know, targets, right? All of them. No matter what they're doing, in my opinion, it's all just kind of bullshit. Like, even if I give my own target, it's bullshit. You know, it is. It really is. I mean, it's like I could give you every reason in the world why Zoom should be $70. Is it going to trade at that? That's up to the market, man. It's up to the market. It's not up to me. You know, what's the collective market thinking? I think that's kind of what, you know, you need to think about. And it's always changing, right? A new piece of news comes out. Zoom added something. Now people are looking at that revenue growing a little more, maybe. Maybe it's a new good feature for Zoom. Via Apple Vision Pro Zoom meetings. You know, I don't know. That would low-key be pretty sick. They should come up with something like that. Maybe I just came up with $1 million idea. I'm sure they already do that, though. But Lefty said, would you consider the analyst market manipulation? Yeah. You know, Lefty, I'm not going to say that I 100% consider that market manipulation, but I think that there's instances where that has happened before. I think that most of them, Lefty, are trying to be legit. And here's the reason why I say this, Lefty. Let's just say this. Let's say you pick Mike, myself, and Hunter, right? And like, let's say that you ask all three of us why you think a stock should be a certain price. We're all three going to give you totally different reasons. Hunter's going to give you totally... I'm not going to say this for sure, but I would think Hunter would give you more fundamental reasons as of why the company should be a certain price, right? And give his target. Now, he'll admit as well that those targets are very hard to come by and be exact with. So keep that in mind. Same thing with Mike. But Mike might say a mix of like fundamentals. He might throw some charting in there. Whereas me, I'm probably going to look at charting mainly. You know, mainly look at charting. And I'm going to look at the overall market sentiment, macroeconomic move on those stocks. And of course, those guys would have a lot of input and a lot of reasons as of why something should be that price. But the whole point is that, you know, like, what are you going to say? Like, are you going to be like, well, you guys are manipulating the market, right? It's like a lot of these banks, like they're not forced, but, you know, they come up with these price targets. I think a lot of these people actually think that they're right with the targets. You know, like, let's say there's an analyst with like, let's say JP Morgan. And let's just say like, what's an interesting one? I'm trying to think of a small one, just like some small firm, right? It don't even have to be small, but like, let's say like Nottingham, like a pretty big firm, or something. They come out and they say something like, hey, SMCI, we're raising our target to $1,200, right? We could essentially say then, well, they might be manipulating it, because what if they're buying up a ton of the stock and they want it to move up and etc.? Or what if they bought a whole ton of puts and then they lower the target, right? And then the stock falls. That would be pretty illegal, I believe. Obviously, you know, it's you can't get caught doing that. But at the same time, if their analysts are giving out good enough reasons, I mean, it's just somebody's thought. You know, it's just the analyst thought. You know, you can't really, like, get caught for it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, like, Lefty, there's definitely manipulation that goes in with those analysts, I would say. But just keep in mind, like, at the same time, too, it's not 100% clear. Nobody really knows exactly. You know, there's a lot of inferences out there. I'm a big person in the market where I really just like to take the data as it's given to me, right? There might be spots where I think the data should be different. There might be spots where I think the feds might be sugarcoating something or etc. You know, some people even say that, like, the GDP growth rate is manipulated. Inflation's manipulated, you know, etc., etc., etc. I just take it how it's given, right? And I try to look at what the market's trying to price in. Kevin said they're being paid by someone to say what they say. That's true, Kevin. They are. But keep in mind that, like, you know, you're really putting, like, the tinfoil hat on, like, the manipulation overall. But I get it. You know, everybody always says that, right? The market, there's manipulation, manipulation, manipulation. You know, I get it. It's a really easy talking point to run onto. Everyone does it. It gets views. It gets clicks, right? It's really easy to do. Like, I could make a whole hour-long video all about manipulation, you know, and... But at the same time, it's just like... There's so much manipulation going on, and, like, a lot of people don't understand the extent of the manipulation. Like, there might be a few firms that are bullish on Meta, so they keep raising price targets. And then at the same time, there might be other firms that are bearish on Meta. So then now they're setting lower price targets or, you know, starting to make, like, negative statements or something, right? I've even heard of bullshit where, like, people, like, the media is so corrupt that, you know, they'll work with these institutions and banks. Like, some people argue, like, CNBC, they don't like Tesla, so they'll put out, like, tons of negative Tesla articles. You know, a lot of people look at that as manipulation, which could be true. Could be true. It's just hard to tell exactly, like, what is and what's not. The reality is the SEC isn't going to do anything. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it's hard to prove, right? Very hard to prove. Unless they somehow, like, subpoenaed a firm and then they were able to, like, specifically find somewhere, like, in, like, an email or, like, a meeting or something where they specifically said, you know, we would like the price to be lower. Very hard to prove. Yeah, exactly, Sean. Like, it's crazy out there, but... Alright, back to stocks. SPY. Very choppy down here. Very, very choppy. SPY doing nothing on the day. Boeing chopping around nothing as well. Palantir starting to come back a little bit. Small intraday support around 2250. Looks like it might try to come back here a little today. Be careful of that. Cart squeezed. Man, it would be sick if it could really get a good break here. It's been consolidating for like 10, 15 minutes. Maybe even 30 minutes now. Seems like it's hitting a wall. Not wanting to break through that level. Big support on QQQ, 423.50. Still waiting for that to give out today. It might not. You know, Nvidia earnings are going to be probably what makes or breaks that move, right? Probably. All right, we're going to end the poll today. 64 votes. 48% of you guys voted for a drop down, 40% move up, and 10% for around the same. So, looks like drop is actually leading the way. I'm very surprised. And that's a big thing to see here. That's a big number, guys. That's a big number. I still can't believe that we're in such a negative part of the year. Like, the second half of February is so negative. I just can't believe it. I would have never thought that with the... out of every 2 weeks of the year that this was the worst. Just wouldn't have thought that. Would have thought it would have been like sometime in September. September's is close, the first half of it, but not really to the second half. Man, that's pretty rough. Drunken Miller sold off his positions, except Nvidia. Wow. Nvidia looks just like the QQQ today. Gonna be a tough one with the earnings, right? Are they gonna keep up with the growth, is the question. It's a big stock, big player today. Hopefully everybody out there is careful if you do play this one. It's going to be tough. Man, Nvidia's getting close to that low of day again. QQQ is still right around there. I'm going to have to place an alert there because got to get alerted on this one. Got to. Such a big spot. Right, guys, give me 1 second. I'll be right back again. Small intermission. Just take a minute or two. I'll even bring up the 4-chart setup real quick. Be right back. Wow, meta. All right. Let's go. Meta blasting over 467. The bottom right-hand chart. Yeah, that would make sense, Mason, with like the tax. Right, the watch list. Oh, I see oil coming back up a little. Zom's getting higher again short term. I like it. Getting back to pretty big resistance here. Like to see it. I like to see it. Weird. VIX went red, Mason said. VIX. Let's look at that on the daily chart. I guess it's not really red yet. I see what you're saying, though. The QQQ and the SPY are both down around like lows of day, and the VIX is falling. Kind of weird. Cart, Arthur says. Yeah, still looking pretty good. 4% now on the day, up to like 28.90, almost 29. Not bad. Nvidia, still sitting around the low, of course. Did we expect anything else? What is that low of day? Like 676? AMD, very similar. Intel's been having good moves lately, but today, pretty rough. Yesterday was pretty good for Intel at open, but then, man, it had a good pre-market move yesterday. All right, Tilray. 1.77. It's SM bot time, guys. Where's that momentum? Teladoc puts. No way. Still going down on Teladoc? Went down quite a bit. 24%. I would say it's not really on the radar now, though. Got too low, in my opinion. No play on Teladoc. Just too low. Rivian, they report earnings tonight, too. Down 3%. I see Disney puts on the bot, even. Not Disney. It's okay, though. SH says it's a good time to buy Nvidia shares at least, or wait till after earnings. Man, SH. I'm not trying to put a big damper on Nvidia here, but I would be very, very, very careful with that in the short term, SH. Even if you're buying the shares for the long term, man, I would definitely wait right now. You could go into Discord and ask Mike if you want. Ask Hunter. You could ask quite a few people in the Discord. See what they think too. But man, I think it's way too high in the short term to be buying shares. We're starting to see these big stocks like SMCI even turn over real hard. It's like, if these earnings aren't great, let's say that they're good, but they just don't meet expectations. I mean, this stock could still fall quite a bit. So be very, very careful here. There's some crazy expectations out there for this stock, but it's really not worth buying now. The big thing that we always say is, why weren't you buying at 200 or 300 or 150 or 175, right? Like, why now? You know, now is just a time where I think most people are going to start selling. I think we're already seeing that happen. People are de-risking ahead of earnings here on this one. Because they're up like they're up, what, 400% on some of these shares. They're like, oh yeah, I'm getting out. De-risk time. You never know. It could go up more, but it's just not really worth the risk. No problem, SH. And trust me, I love Nvidia as a company. I love them as a business, as a company. I love their product. It's just about being smart with this one. Some people are like, Tom, you've been so negative on Nvidia, you must hate them. I'm like, no, not at all. Love Nvidia. I use Nvidia's graphics cards. SPY trying to come back. How are the China stocks? Come on, Baba. All right, Baba had a dip here. Am I smelling a dip buy opportunity coming in? Oh, SMCI and DWAC down like 5%. Coinbase down 3.4%. SoFi down, Shop, Rivian, Affirm. And the growth stocks are getting hit hard today. Even DraftKings is red. Yeah, again today, you know, the big, I guess, saviors are like Starbucks, KO, McDonald's. It's like, the hell's happening? The value stocks. Walmart's back down, but that's okay. Even Kraft. Kraft up to 36 today. Man, that recovery's been great. It got to 34 for one day, and bam, right back up. Be careful of Kraft, though. The chart looks kind of funky here. Yeah, not DraftKings Grim Reaper, right? It's all right, though. Yeah, ketchup and coffee, right? Anytime those two are leading the watch list, you know it's a weird day out there. Speaking of Starbucks, they're actually making a new high of day as we speak right now. Been moving pretty well, running up higher. Nice. Yeah, it's pretty big, though. Good moves by these slower movers here. A lot of people will be like, Tom, but Starbucks sucks. The options suck. They're pretty good today. Like the weeklies at like the 96, 95 strikes are up like 250% plus. Not too bad. For a slow mover like S-Bucks. $2% is a lot on a stock like this. I'm not saying it's a ton, but, you know, Nvidia moves 2%. No one cares. Yeah, it's moved like 2% today, so. All right, ARM is in the green today. Quite a bit up, 1.9%. Go to the daily. Is ARM going to start recovering back a little? Big dip over the past few days. Down to support, like 118. Starting to bounce well off of there. I'd be careful playing this one. But there could be opportunities if you watch it closely for momentum. This is really a momentum stock, in my opinion. So, like, you really need to just follow that momentum on here. Find some good opportunities. Double top today, close to like 124.30. If it breaks there here, let's see how high it can get. Hopefully 125 or higher, right? No fake outs here. No fake outs, ARM. My Mara calls start printing. Nice. Mara does actually look pretty good right now. Intraday, it's starting to come back. Nice. Like to see that. How's Coin? Yes, yeah, very similar, of course. Riot, same thing. Let's go look at Bitcoin itself. Okay. Just trying to bounce up, but on a daily chart, that red candle today looks kind of rough. Looks like it's down around intraday support and even recent support, though, whenever we draw it out. Anywhere around this 50,600 to 51K mark has been pretty big support lately. You guys can see all of those bounces there. Pretty huge. Pretty obvious spot. Bitcoin. In the short term, Bitcoin's been great, but will it start dipping now? That's the question. If the whole stock market starts dipping here, it might be a spot where Bitcoin pulls back. Nvidia might even play a role. You know, graphics cards are big with Bitcoin. I'm not saying it's going to necessarily make Bitcoin go up just because Nvidia earnings are good, but you know, Nvidia definitely benefits from that crypto sector. I have SMCI puts. Can't trade too much in the next 2 weeks due to work and ice fishing trip. Whoa, Paul. Well, hey, have a fun time ice fishing. That sounds really fun. I think you mentioned that before. I think the market will tank this afternoon, and tonight after Nvidia, not playing Nvidia, but SMCI. SMCI puts. Risky on a stock like this, but not bad. I mean, I like the way you're going. I like the direction. I could see it down. Yeah, ice fishing sounds pretty crazy, doesn't it, Mason? Going ice fishing. That sounds fun, though, Paul. Have a good one. Stay warm in there. You gonna, like, have a tent? It's funny you say that. I literally watched a video last night about some guy ice fishing. Like, no joke. All right, guys. Well, hey, we're probably going to call the live stream here. I appreciate everybody sticking around today. I know the market's been pretty flat. Been looking for opportunities across the board. Really, I think being patient here and waiting for the good move is the way to go. I'm waiting for that QQQ breakdown. If that doesn't come, probably just try to find some individual stocks running up and trade those. Well, let's go. Oh, that's sick, Paul. Yeah, definitely send some pictures. It sounds sick. But yeah, have a great one, guys. It is Wednesday, so don't forget we have the live Q&A tonight as well. I know the market was closed Monday, so some people might be thrown off a little bit by that. But be ready, live Q&A tonight. Be there 9 p.m. Eastern time in the Discord for trading floor members only. For trading floor members only. Let's go. Let's go. If you guys are interested in joining the trading floor, just check out the link I'm sending in the chat. You can join the Q&A, get access to the bots, and all the other tools we have to offer. We have quite a bit. Make sure you watch the videos on that page, but let's go, guys. It's Wednesday. I know it sounds weird, but the week's already half over. Let's get after it. See you guys later. Walk away with those profits today. Hey, of course, thanks to all the lurkers out there, too, and everyone typing in the chat. Really appreciate it. And let's go.